44 novels, 121 short stories, and 14 short story collections. Philip K. Dick was, if nothing else, a hugely prolific writer, best known for his science fiction efforts. The Man in the High Castle, The Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, Ubik. Flow my tears, the policeman said, a scanner darkly. Classic science fiction, referred to as New Wave science fiction, was particularly popular throughout the 60s and 70s, and often engaged with complex philosophical themes, particularly around the construct of reality, individualized perception and self-identity, false realities, entropy, humans and machines, the nature of God and social control, an intoxicating mix, intricately woven into captivating narratives, the protagonist and every man or woman coming to the slow realization that the world around them is not what it seems. The transition from relative normality to surrealism to simulacrum realization is rousing stuff, if a somewhat predictable trope now some 50 years later. Dick's new wave science fiction style was hugely influential in the shaping and development of the cyberpunk subgenre. His depiction of artificial intelligence, body augmentation, and drug enhancement, combined with social decay, paranoia, and authoritarian governments, would permeate the minds of other writers, filmmakers, and artists. Today, in 2020, much of Dick's writings continue to hold significance. Everything is a matter of perception. The ground is liable to shift under your feet. The protagonist may find himself living out another person's dream, or he may enter a drug-induced state that actually makes better sense than the real world, or he may cross into a different universe completely. Science fiction author Charles Platt on Philip K. Dick. Let us also not forget the works of J.G. Ballard, Harlan Ellison, Charles Platt, and of course, William Gibson. Agents of science fiction and philosophy, relishing in their creative freedoms, throwing caution to the wind, clutching artistic merit and literary experimentation. Scientific accuracy, sometimes flouted, but always on the periphery, the backdrop to character development and the human spirit. For willing readers, this is an offer of escapism and an opportunity for your own self-reflection as you question the moral struggles and philosophical wranglings of these most real characters. If Philip K. Dick set the philosophical tone of these narratives, William Gibson would take Dick's concepts and craft a novel that would become the archetypal cyberpunk work. Neuromancer, the account of a washed-up computer hacker who signs up for one more job, is faced with what seems like an insurmountable challenge against the singular, powerful artificial intelligence. Much like Dick before him, Gibson would address themes of false realities, humans and machines, and self-identity, as well as human dependence on drug enhancements and technology addiction, but in vastly different, quintessential cyberpunk surroundings. While much of Dick's work is set in Middle America, often rural and suburban in style, Gibson's environmental depiction in Neuromancer is much further removed from that, taking place in a fictional dystopian version of the Japanese city Chiba. Technology reigns supreme. When one thinks of cyberpunk environments, it's more often than not in the style portrayed within Neuromancer. Think Akira, Ghost in the Shell, or Blade Runner. As for the setting of Chiba, a model city of societal disparity in the extreme. Huge gulfs endure between those in poor, slum-like dwellings, juxtaposed with the ultra-rich, powerful mega-corporations and pristine skyscrapers, the keepers of the impoverished. There is no shortage of technology, however. Artificial intelligence, neural implants, space tourism, digital copies, and jacking in, a way in which the user transcends their physical body to access cyberspace, an often used concept to traverse digital networks in a virtual reality form. If you've seen the movie The Matrix, you'll be familiar with protagonist Neo jacking into the Matrix using a socket located at the back of his head. Cyberspace, a consensual hallucination experienced daily by billions of legitimate operators in every nation. Neuromancer has had several opportunities for a large-scale film adaptation, yet to come to fruition. In development hell, the script has been passed from pillar to post for several years now. No one is sure if it will ever see the light of day, but thankfully, there are some other rather stunning examples of cyberpunk realised in cinema. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep takes place in a post-apocalyptic San Francisco, where life on Earth has greatly diminished because of nuclear global war. The main plot follows protagonist Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter tasked with killing, referred to as retiring, 6 escaped androids. Sound familiar? This novel would eventually become the cult classic, Blade Runner. Released in 1982 and directed by Ridley Scott, Blade Runner is quite simply a visual treat, encompassing all the aesthetics we've come to expect in such a world. A science fiction, film noir extravaganza. Vast swathes of dark grim streets, dense fog, heavy rain illuminated by the soft glow of neon lighting, or as Scott would put it, Hong Kong on a bad day. Giant commercial screens affixed everywhere, further highlighting that capitalism, albeit in a much more extreme form, is still very much the economic and political system of choice. Dig a little deeper past the glorious styling of set designer Lawrence G. Paul, and once again we come face to face with major philosophical quandaries. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, of course, touches upon humans and machines, entropy, the nature of God, and social control, and so too does Blade Runner, wonderfully so, in its 117-minute runtime. The replicants, otherwise known as androids, are artificial life forms, or very clearly sentient, cognizant machines, which are practically indistinguishable from their flesh and blood human counterparts. Machines created by humans, subservient to the human race, perpetuating a theme of paranoia and fear that threads from one scene to the next. Humans and machines, fearful of one another, at odds with one another, but share commonality in their quest for meaning and their fear of death. Cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. In what context do humans have control over these androids? If their only crime is one of illegally occupying Earth, does the punishment of death fit the crime? It's not something that's directly answered in the film, which leaves the debate open to us as the viewer. This is no doubt a theme that is all too relevant now in 2020 as the battle for a fair, equitable society continues. An iconic piece of cinema history and an incredible film to start your cyberpunk journey. The cyberpunk game we've all been waiting for is nearly here. Cyberpunk 2077. If you've seen the promotional material thus far, the imagery used throughout is nothing short of stunning. The works of William Gibson and Katsuhiro Otomo and Masamune Shirow come to life. A neon-lit sandbox in which we can put our fully customized characters against megacorporations, authoritarian government workers, and gang thugs alike. Night City, a huge, sprawling city based in the free state of North California, is under the control of megacorporations and invulnerable from the laws of both country and state, mirroring the works of the above authors and directors. Much of Night City's inhabitants are completely dependent on help from artificial intelligence, ranging from public transportation, hospitality, and waste disposal. Humans and machines rarely work in harmony in these dystopian times. Net neutrality is dead and buried in 2077, with the army and megacorporations controlling what inhabitants can and can't access. Want to rant online about the poor healthcare options within the Free State? Unlikely, as the trauma team will crack down on any dissent immediately, stifling any form of free speech, particularly free speech which shows those in a negative light. Paranoia is rife. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Social decay is in full swing, with a number of violent crimes taking place on a daily basis. Because of this, citizens are permitted to open carry weapons in order to protect themselves. CD Projekt Red have, from what we have seen so far, created a world which references much cyberpunk work. And while we can't delve any deeper into the multiple narratives that will run throughout, we can assume that false realities, humans and machines, entropy, the nature of God, and social control will appear to some degree, given their significance to the genre. It's no doubt an exciting time to be a gamer and a lover of the cyberpunk genre. As fans, we already have so much to enjoy. But with the release of Cyberpunk 2077, this is the potential catalyst to inspire future writers, directors, and artists, just as Dick and Gibson have done. It's often said that the themes depicted in cyberpunk works are ever more important as we drift towards a more AI-centered world. While I agree with this sentiment, I think these themes have always been important. When reading back over some of Dick's work, yes, there's an abundance of material around artificial intelligence, humans and machines, entropy, the nature of God, and social control. Let us hypothesize for a moment that these works haven't just been written to make us question our actions in the future, but our actions now and how we treat one another.